Hi QPR fans, my name's George Sharp and I'm joined today by QPR's newest right back, Reggie Cannon. Thanks for joining me today.
Of course, happy to be here.
Firstly, can you share some details about your injury and how is it doing?
Yeah, my recovery's been great so far. Unfortunately, at the end of training last week, just slipped wrong, and fortunately, my knee did something weird. So we're still working on the rehab, still working on the recovery, but everything's going well, and I'm hoping to have a soon return.
Well, I'm sure one of many voices saying I'm glad to hear that. And how frustrated were you that you missed Saturday's game through injury?
Yeah, it was obviously very difficult, to miss that game. Coming in with all the work I've done, I've earned a spot, playing well. So it's obviously, very frustrating to, just receive a minor injury. But again, that's football. So I'm just staying positive, and when I return, I'm going to be ready to give my all for this team. I think this team's headed in the right direction currently.
Were you at the game on Saturday by any chance?
No, I wasn't. I was doing the rehab for my knee, but I
Oh,
watched every minute, of course.
that's good to hear. And I am right in saying you have played at Loftus Road, haven't you? Or
Yes, yes,
yeah, how did you think of the atmosphere?
yeah, dude, the atmosphere was incredible. It was the game against Leicester. Was my first one starting in a game at Loftus Road, and the environment was absolutely incredible. The fans, they're passionate. You could hear everything. You're so close. I think the stadium really has something special and a lot of passion from the fans. And obviously, once we start getting better results, it's going to be even a better environment, better atmosphere. So, I'm really proud of the fans for showing out, especially recently. It's been a great atmosphere.
And I'm going to touch on your past career later on, but how would you say the atmosphere does compare to those of the Portuguese leagues and the MLS?
Yeah, I think for the Portuguese league, it definitely depends on who you're playing. And I think that's one thing the championship kind of is different. Every game, away fans are showing up. Obviously, it's the home fans are showing up. There's more energy. There's you can feel the passion. And not saying that Boavista and the Portuguese league doesn't have passion. It's just obviously depends on who you're playing. You're playing Sporting, Porto, Benfica, and it's like the stadium's full. It's crowd. There's noise. Everything.
Mm.
As far as MLS goes, I would say the environment's definitely better. MLS has grown a lot, though. Now I watch the games of my old club. They seem to be doing really well. They're selling out. So I think every league is growing in its own aspect. But the energy I experience at Loftus Road has been great so far.
And you've only played a handful of championship games, but how would you say the physicality levels do compare to other?
Yeah, I would say the physicality is much higher than the Portuguese league. I think the Portuguese league definitely has its different strengths, but the championship definitely has its own strengths also, and
Mm.
physicality is one of those. Every time, every single time, there's something going on in the championship in a game. You always have to be 100% focused. You can't afford to make those errors as frequently in the championship. Especially as MLS. MLS is growing as well a lot. But I don't think anything compares to the level overseas. I think overseas everything is, you got a higher level
Mm.
football, higher level players, more money involved. So there's obviously going to be higher things involved.
Mm. And what would you say is the current mood like within the squad with obviously Marty coming into the club?
Yeah, I think all the players really enjoy playing under him. I think that he's done a fantastic job. In getting the mood right and the environment right with the team. Gareth was obviously a very pivotal part of this club. He's a legend for the club, and he
Mm.
did a good job. But I think ultimately the direction that we're headed in now, we have an identity of how we want to play. I think players are excited, and I think you can tell them on the pitch. I think guys have done extremely well, over the past course of weeks, and found newfound heights for most of the players.
And you did touch on Gareth, but did it have any? How did your QPR move actually did come about? Was it due to him, or was it a long-standing thing in the works?
Yeah, there were a lot of things that in the summer that we had to work through. QPR had always shown the interest, and I obviously, love the destination QPR. For me as a player, me as a person. I was always excited to come here. There were just a lot of hurdles that we had to jump through over the summer, and eventually we got there. So obviously that's very, very exciting. And even my wife and everyone in my family being here, it's been incredible. The club's really treated us well. And Gareth, I spoke to him over the summer a couple times, and he was very excited about the prospect of me as a player, the potential of me as a player. He really made me feel at home. And I'll really miss him as a gaffer, but I do think Marty is, he's getting everything he can out of me. So I'm really looking forward to playing under him.
And you touched on your family there. How have you settled in England?
Yeah, it's been great. We really, really love the country, and it's nice to speak the same language. So it's been great so far. The settling took about like month and a half. But now everything's good. We got everything here. It's been really comforting being here. And the club has done an excellent job at helping me settle in and just getting my mind focused on the football that I'm playing. So overall, it's been great.
And I have done a bit of research, and I believe that your granddad is a well-renowned scientist, isn't he, Dr. Washington? And
Yeah, he's
your sister's also an elite baseball coach. So how
yes.
have they had any big influences in your career?
Yeah, my family is obviously you know, a family of high expectations. They always wanted to strive to get the best out of us. And so, I was the first footballer in my family. So when I told them I want to be a professional footballer, they were like, no, you're gonna get your academics, you're gonna, everything, of course. And it took some convincing to leave college and attempt to make a professional career out of it. But it obviously worked out in the end, so I'm very happy. But my family has obviously had a very notorious background. It's done some incredible things, not only in the sports field, but obviously in the science field and the medical field. So being a professional footballer, it's definitely a step away. But honestly, they're very proud of me, and I'm very proud of what I've accomplished so far.
Definitely. And what would you say the standard is like with US high school football and college football?
Yeah, I played a little bit of high school football, and then obviously a little bit of college football, and the standard is better than what it was. But I mean, it won't. I mean, if you look at the statistics, like most players in college don't make it to professionals, and most players in high school football don't make it to college. I think there's definitely steps up in the level. But I think the level overall has improved. And obviously, I played at a private Christian school, so it wasn't like the most technical or preparing you for the next level type football, but I made the most of it. So I think it definitely provided me a platform.
Yeah, it's good to hear. And have you always been a right back through your football career?
Mostly. I started off as a right back, then I started to play center back, and then I played as a right back when I made my professional debut. So, I've always been a defender, but I do like attacking. And that's part of my football. What I provide, is dangerous plays on the opposite side of the ball, and that's just been my strength since I've been young. So I always play to
Did you not fancy playing any American football then as a
it.
teenager?
Yeah, I did. I did play a little bit. I was the kid who kind of like did everything. Like I ran track, I played football, I played American football, I played basketball. I really did a bunch. And American football is it's something, man. It's not for me, like, but it's definitely something.
Yeah, what would you say then really sparked your love for football?
I would definitely say sorry.
That's all right.
I would definitely say I really fell in love with it at the beginning of when I was like 7. I would say like the moment I decided that okay, this could actually be an outcome for me is when like I was in middle school, and every other sport like the American footballs, like the track I was running, they didn't really like make me feel, passion
Mm.
or enjoyment. So honestly, I feel like that was the moment where I kind of decided, okay, this is what I want to be and this is what I can do. And I believe it can happen. And so once that time happened, I kind of just made an effort to be the best I could be.
And then obviously you made your MLS debut, Dallas versus the New York Red Bulls. How was that for you?
Oh yeah, remember that game? I played I think 3 minutes, um, but it was honestly incredible. It was the first time I was like, okay, I have a shot at this. I just have to keep improving, and it was incredible stepping out in front of those fans who supported me, and making your professional debut is always something you never forget. I still remember that. I still remember the feeling. I still remember every play that happened. That was something that you know really made me feel like, yeah, I can make it.
Mm. Yeah, and then you moved to Portugal, and how was it playing in the Portuguese leagues? A big difference in standard, or?
Yeah, there's a huge difference, huge standard difference. I think the games were a lot more intense. I've always said this in all my interviews, like, in MLS, there's no promotion relegation, and so it's just kind of like when you go into an environment that every game is life or death, you start to understand and realize that mistakes really can't happen as frequently. So it's just a big learning curve. I really think the pressure, the ability to learn how to function in high stress environments. I definitely think in Europe you get more of that. And obviously improves you as a
And it weren't a common move, was it? America to Portugal. How about did that
player.
even come about?
Yeah, the year that I was moving, it was the first year of COVID. Everything was hectic. Everything was crazy. I'd been getting interest from a lot of clubs. However, things just didn't work out the way they did. And Bobby's had always shown that interest, so it was always great to get in there and, show that I could play in Europe. So it was obviously a great move. At the end of the day, I think it gave me what I needed. So
And who would you say have been some of the better players you played against in Portugal or the MLS?
In MLS, I'd probably say like I played against Ibrahimovic, played against Alfonso Davies before he moved, played against David Villa. Those players were players I'll never forget playing against. And in Portugal, you know, playing against Darwin Nunez, Luis Diaz was incredible. I played against a lot of those players that played in Portugal before they made their big move. And I'll never forget playing against players like that. Like that's something you always just take to heart, especially as a defender. It's just you get to see like the next level of strikers and wingers, and it makes you excited to play against players like that.
And how proud of you were you? How proud were you to make your debut for the USA against Peru?
Yeah, it was another one of those moments I'll never forget. It was incredible. I had the support of everyone around me at the time, and it was just this is the moment where I was like, okay, I have a chance to make
Mm.
it. I finally made it to the highest level internationally, and I was able to play there for many years, hopefully more. It was a great experience.
And you touched on that. Obviously, the right back is quite a strong position in the US squad, it seems. Do you still have high aspirations of being a starting right back?
Yeah, of course, everyone obviously, has aspirations. But at the moment, my focus is just focusing on the club and what I can do to help us, get in the best position possible. Because I know, once that happens, if I get called in, I get called in. If not, I can't control it. So I'm just focusing on succeeding at QPR because it's obviously a great place to play.
And back onto the present, obviously at QPR, how would you describe your playing style?
Yeah, I would say I'm a very dynamic right back. I think I provide things on both sides of the ball. And I think I provide a lot of counterattacking football that QPR can play, and that we have played a little bit over the past games I've been here. I think especially with the winger like Smithy, I think we work really well together. I think he's a great 1v1 player, and the ability to kind of make the fullback question whether he's stepping to him or whether he has to mark me, I think just really helps open up things for a lot of other players. I think I provide a lot of attacking and dangerous crosses, dangerous abilities while providing the solidness of being a good defender.
Mm.
I think I've learned a lot over the years, so I think that's me as a player.
Do you back yourself in pace against Paul Smith then?
No, no, he's faster than me, and I will straight up say that he is rapid, dude, rapid.
And we're talking about other members of the squad. Who would you say are some of your better friends within the squad and have really helped you settle in?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, everyone's been really great. Ozzy has been really friendly. Smithy, really close with. Cookie, as everyone's been great. Dawes, I can go on, but
Mm,
the whole squad really. Jack Colbag has been very friendly, and welcoming me in, to just be at home. Sam Field's been great. All the captain, the leadership guys, and obviously the younger guys. They've all been great, really.
And have you picked up any other hobbies since moving to England?
Not yet. It's really been the same. Just focus on trying to get settled. So I haven't really,
Mm.
had time for that. But now that I'm all settled, hopefully a few will settle in.
No, I'm sure quite a few members of the squad will try and make you play some golf with them. But obviously, Ilias has come out and said that the training sessions have been really good. He's really been enjoying it under Marty. Do you still feel the same?
Yeah, 100%. Every training session is possession oriented. You have to be in stressful positions, learn how to play out. And I think that improves me and a lot of the other players, learning to be in those position situations so that you can ultimately improve. I think overall the training sessions have been really great, and I think guys have noticed the step up.
And you just mentioned the possession style. Do you personally enjoy that?
Yeah, for me, I that's the way I want to play. And obviously, in the championship, every team has a different style. It depends on what works for you, but I'm glad that there's clear identity, and we're not going to abandon it if we lose one game. Or we have to stick with our identity no matter what throughout the course of the season. I think this coach, this gaffer, definitely understands that. I think he's bought into that, and the players have as well.
Definitely. And one of the final questions, what are your personal goals for the season ahead?
Um, the the team at the beginning has, especially under this gaffer, has just listed out goals, and ultimately our goal is top six. I mean, that's every championship team's goal. Anything is possible. There's so many games at the championship. You get a good run going. I've talked with guys who, have seen teams who've been the bottom of the table in November. They end up going top six. It depends. But for me, ultimately, I want to see keep your eye on the Premier League. Every fan does, every player does. For me personally, I want to be getting a handful of assists, creating dangerous chances, being solid defensively. Those things really make me feel like I'm having a good season. And I feel I've done that so far. It's just getting a string of run of games is going to be important. But for this team has too much potential and too much talent to just simply sit back and say, "Oh, we'll just make it by this year." I think the squad is definitely good enough to make that run.
Definitely, definitely. And final question, it's a pretty tricky one. Would you rather QPR get promoted or would you rather play in the World Cup with the USA?
That's a tough one. No, I would rather QPR get promoted. I've actually talked with Asmi and a bunch of guys about this. Things that like he'll never forget winning the Premier League with Chelsea. And there's differences between obviously having the honor of representing your country, which is probably one of the greatest honor a footballer can have, but the grind and the work also to get promoted in such a difficult league in the championship is difficult. That's like a 50-50 for me. I could say World Cup, but I could say QPR. It's like on one hand you have your dream, and on the
Hmm.
other hand you're like the club and the squad's dream. So it's difficult. But I'll go with the more humanitarian answer. Probably see QPR get promoted while
Well,
simultaneously playing in the World Cup. So
well,
we'll see.
yeah, well, you definitely made the correct answer for me anyway. With that, and with that, it's been a pleasure, Reggie, for joining me today. Thank you very much.
Yes, of course. Love talking to you. It's been great. Thank you.
Perfect. And come on yours.
Come on, you ours. Let's do it.